This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com. So Steve's beating up his body pretty badly in the 90s with All Japan, and his career comes to a full stop in 95 when he has a situation at Customs. Of course, marijuana is heavily frowned upon in Japan, and that's a big deal there. So there's a lot of folks, including Paul McCartney, who are now banned from entering the country because of it. But somehow Giant Baba uses his political stroke for Steve to only be quote unquote suspended for 1 year. Do you remember this marijuana story making headlines? And what can you tell us about Giant Baba's political power, if any, in Japan?
Well, working backwards, Baba was extremely powerful in Japan, and as was Inoki. Inoki was in the Senate, but Baba had connections as well. And being a former baseball player and the promoter of the #1 Japan office at the time, that had a lot of stroke, that had a lot of power. And thank God, because had Doc not worked for All Japan and Giant Baba for not being a celebrity, he could have landed underneath the jail in Japan, and we would have gone, hey, whatever happened to Steve Williams? So just to get out in general and then only to be suspended spoke an awful lot to the power of Mr. Baba.
Were you personally caught off guard with this news of Dr. Death and marijuana being such an issue over there? Were you nervous about it, or how it could affect the WWF? Or did everybody sort of know, hey guys, what you're doing in Oklahoma or Florida or whatever is whatever, but you can't do it in Japan?
Well, most guys were smart enough not to do it in Japan. That's, again, there are places that you go, you don't take it into Canada. There are just certain things that you should be smart about or smarter about. And taking drugs into a foreign country, I wouldn't recommend, folks. Yeah. Ever.
Chat me up about All Japan, or specifically ECW. He even pops up while he's working a lot of these All Japan matches. And of course, tape trading is a big thing with the hardcore fans who read the Observer and whatnot. So they're hearing about these great matches, and then they're trading tapes to see them. So of course, Paul Heyman brings him in for a couple of ECW shots. But in that era, it almost felt like ECW, for lack of a better word, was almost your own developmental. And so guys would sort of get their big sort of coming out party for that sort of hardcore audience with ECW. And then you guys would drink that milkshake up and bring them over. Is that ultimately what gets him noticed, or is it Johnny Ace or some other? How does this come to be where he initially has an opportunity with the WWF?
With Dr. Death?
Yes.
Well, Doc was always on the radar, and Doc was someone that, kind of like Avatar, that JR would constantly bring up.
Yeah.
And I don't know that, that can be a detriment as much as anything else sometimes. So unfortunately for Doc, I think it was a bit of a detriment sometimes. However, man, Doc was just one of those guys that had it, and he had something special about him. And after the drug bust, if you want to call it that, in Japan, well, that doesn't shine favorably on someone wanting to come into the company, and you need to give that some time. That wouldn't have been a good look to bring Doc in at that time. However, for ECW, my God, he's a hero then. So of course they would use him, and thank God they did.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.